There is some very good material available to explain volatility in casino games. One of my favourites is Casino Operations Management by Jim Kilby and others. Another great resource is Andrew McDonald's Urbino.net. These resources are great if you have an understanding and interest in math and statistics, but can be a bit dry for many. It's all well and good to know that expected results would lie within a confidence envelope of say 95% or 2 standard deviations, but do we know what that really means? Do these numbers tell us what we can reasonably expect to happen on our gaming floor with our table limits and our level of action? Well, yes, they do, as long as you know how to input the data and interpret the results. But what if you don't have the inclination to grapple with the minutiae of statistical modelling, or are not confident that you are supplying a spreadsheet with sufficient or correct data? It's all well and good to send envoys out to the 4 corners of the world with offers of rebate on loss programs, rolling rebates, chip warrants and other forms of free money, with a view to enticing mega players. But do we really want them? Are we comfortable that we can cater for these mega players? And are we going to get sufficient action to bring volatility to within our comfort zone? We know that we have an edge of say 0.8% after offering rebates and incentives, and that in the long run we'll make that percentage on turnover. But this can be a very wild ride for a casino or club that can't spread its risk over scores of tables across the world. Not only do we need the resources, we also need the stomach for a wild and bumpy ride that may never settle down to a walk in the park. I've written some programs for those casinos who don't have an army of analysts on staff, or who simply don't have the time or inclination to do their own risk modelling. These programs are also for casino people who simply want to get a handle on risk management and volatility, to know when something's well within normal limits or when something's just not right. This is a real-world baccarat simulator. You enter the number of shoes to run, the minimum bet and the maximum bet. The program will draw cards according to the tableau, and bets will be placed according to one of the typical baccarat betting systems. The default is to follow sequences by doubling on wins to table maximum, reducing to the table minimum, and changing sides on a loss. You can see that a run of half a dozen shoes or more clearly illustrates the roller coaster nature of baccarat, particularly when an intelligent system is employed. An interesting phenomenon with baccarat systems is that the player's big wins will always exceed his big losses. Sure, the aggregate number of smaller losses will exceed the aggregate number of big wins in the long term, but how confident are you that you have sufficient high roller action for your results to fall within your particular risk tolerance profile? This shoe shows a win of over 2.5 million, spreading 20k to 200k with an average bet of nearly 80k. These huge wins occur when there's a large sequence of one particular bet. It doesn't matter which of the bets has the sequence, because most systems do a very efficient job of tracking sequences. It doesn't need to be said that no form of money management, martingale, progression or betting systems of any kind can beat the house edge in the long run. But baccarat systems in particular can have a devastating effect in the short to medium term. We can supply simulators for all card games, roulette, and even slot machines.